Episode number 5.
Yes!
We can't code. Mike.
Made it to number 5.
Mike is actually in town here, so...
I made it home.
Yep. Mike, high five for episode 5?
Yes! Oh, it was a good high five, too.
That was good. Okay, so, welcome to We Can't Code. This is a podcast about two people. Myself, I'm Ben.
And me, my name is Michael.
And, so, the podcast is called We Can't Code, so...
we criticize.
Yeah, we can't code, so we criticize games, we should specify.
I'm just so happy now that I'm here, I can actually come crystal clear without worrying about my audio.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, on top of that, too, like, you are in a hotel, like, a majority of the time.
Yeah.
It's gotta be nice to just be at home.
Dude, it is nice sleeping in my own bed. I'm super excited, especially since I'm gonna be home for, like, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I get to actually enjoy playing games again, like... I was playing more games than the one I just played, and
what was the one you were playing?
I was playing a Ruiner, and so like we're gonna just jump into our first subject right now, just saying that what we be playing during the week, and the game I've been playing is Ruiner. I actually beat it too just today as well.
Woo!
I know, right? I was actually happy. I bought it in the beginning of the week, and I finished it at the end of the week, so I'm actually excited about that. The game was $20. I actually got about 5 hours of gameplay through it to beat it. And, like, I just went straight through it. There was really no side things to do at all. It still took me just 5 hours. I don't know.
Pretty, like, linear, or...
Yeah, there's not much. Like, there's a main hub area that you start in, but you're never really there. And there are some side stuff you get in there, but they're just, like, it doesn't really pull you. Like, one of the things to do is just to hack cats. There's one random woman that's like... Yeah, there's this one woman who has, like, cat ears. Like, he goes, like, hey, I need you to hack some cats. Like... Why? Because they're listening to our conversations. So you have to go hack them, like...
I don't... Is that like drug slang? What does that mean?
No, you literally just go up to cats and hack them.
Okay, so cats are like robots in the game?
Well, technically, like, everyone's a cybernetic in some ways. It's set off in the future where everyone has kind of just cybernetic enhancements. And so I guess so do the animals. And so you just, like, walk up these cats and then you hack them. And actually, I do enjoy the hacking in the game. It's just a simple... Just, you hit up, down, left, right, or something like that. You just do that code it gives you before it runs out. It's really fun because it's quick and fast, and it doesn't take long at all.
Just gotta tack into the main frame.
Yeah.
You're up, down, left, right. We're in. We're past the firewall.
And just like the cats, like every time you hack a cat, they go like, "Oh, can I help you?" Or say some weird stuff to you. It's like one of them said like you just put your cable thing in their butt. I'm like,
what?
Alright, this is weird. And then she just gives you like thank you for doing this for me. Now if you go into one level, you get like a bonus weapon and some free extra experience points.
Thanks for sodomizing all these cats for me.
Yeah. No, you don't worry about them spying on us. I'm like, alright. So like that's the stuff you run into, but like that was the only really one I run into. People are saying there's more stuff, but it's... all I really did there was just go to the objectives where I needed to go, and that was it. So I was in that world for maybe 5 minutes at a time, and it kind of gives you a little bit of dialogue to the story, but there's not much to the story. You're just going to save your brother.
Alright, so yeah, if you're looking to spend $20 on a bestiality simulator, check out Ruiner.
Totally worth it. But the combat in the game is good, though. That's what it's based off of. It's a bullet hell game. There's a bunch of mini-bosses. There's, like, I think 3 main bosses. Each of them, like, the mini-bosses were fun to face and all that stuff. They were fair. The main bosses, though, were just kind of stupid and repetitive. It was...
Like, just shoot them, or
yeah,
what?
It was just shoot them. Like, the second boss was annoying because you kill him 3 times in the same fight. I mean, not trying to give any spoilers away, but you just kill him 3 times and he just comes back and you just have to fight him again. He doesn't get faster. He doesn't get new moves. It's just the same thing. And he's hard, but he's like a giant bullet sponge, so if you're already good enough in the game when you reach him. You kind of learn how to do the gameplay. You learn how to dodge and all that stuff. Okay. So he's not difficult, but if you don't dodge him, you do basically almost die instantly. And it's just so annoying because he has so much health, and you finally kill him. It's like, oh no, I'm coming back again. I'm like, all right, cool. And then you kill him again. It's like, oh, I just like... finally done, and it's like, nope, one more time. He just like 3 times is bullshit.
Is he a zombie? Like, why does he keep coming back to life? Well,
like,
I guess no. Yeah, spoilers, I suppose.
Well, it's not much of a spoiler. Just like someone keeps on bringing him back. See, it's a cybernetic thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna just reboot your body again, and that's it. And he comes back, I'm like, all right.
I'm just gonna sodomize your body until you're back to life.
It's like, no, I'm not again.
I don't want to die anymore. Let me die.
That's actually what he says, too, which is funny.
Oh my god.
And The final boss, the main issue I had the final boss is that in the final boss, when you're fighting it, there's also like these things that you run into in the same level that you can destroy. But when you fight the final boss, they don't tell you that you can't destroy them at all. So like the first time I was fighting the boss, I was just shooting at these side things forever because it was showing that they're taking damage, but they never died. So it took me like 4 deaths to realize like, oh, so technically you can die, but it shows me doing damage to you, even though that has no effect to you at all, and no effect on the boss either.
It's kind of bullshit.
No, exactly. It just didn't make any sense, and that was the problem with like all the bosses. They're all like that. It's just like, all right. And after you figure that out, it became stupid easy then. There was nothing else to him but just to shoot them. And that was it. I'm like, okay. The second boss, he did have a cool mechanic when the first time you face him. Not like the last one you kill him 3 times, because apparently there's 2 phases to him. The first phase was fun, and it was interesting to fight him that way. But it was stupid easy. It was just like, alright, just hit these things and knocks you down, and I just shoot you when you're on the ground. And that was it. And he hardly did any damage. When you verse him the second time, he becomes like a fucking cyborg beast. And he just kicks your ass. And after a while, though, you kind of learn how to dodge it. Oh, yeah, and this is why I hate him, too, is that he had a range ability where the damage radius wasn't even clear to see at all. So, like, every single time when, like, I would fight him, I thought I got dodged, but I, for some reason, got hit. I'm like, this is bullshit. And then I finally realized that, like, his balls are shooting out tiny little lightnings out, and that's what was hitting me. And they were just so small to see. I'm like, oh, so I wasn't fully dodging them. And it's just, like, the notification was just too small to see, and I thought that was bad design there.
Huh. Yeah, if you can't see the projectile that's hitting you, that seems a little weird.
Yeah, that's because, like, he's kind of a stronger version of a Cyborg that you run into as a mini-boss. So that was the first time I run into it. So it was just a really just bad design with that character. But everything else in the game was fun. It's very fluent, very fast. The controls are solid. It's just that the bosses were just really hugely lackluster, sadly. But in the end, it was still a fun game to play, and I think it's worth the $20. It just makes the worth of it. And I think I would give the game, honestly, a 6 out of 10. It's worth it if you picked it up, but honestly, it didn't really leave too much with me, but it was still a lot of fun to play.
Okay.
But you can give it a pass. That's why I give it a 6 out of 10.
Sure.
If you see it on sale, pick it up. But as of right now, if you're really interested in a bullet hell game, pick it up.
Yeah, like the graphic style looks
the graphic style is really nice. The characters in it, you don't say anything at all. Your character literally just nods, shrugs, or crack his knuckles. You really don't say anything at all. People just talk to you, and they know you can't talk.
The silent protagonist.
Basically. Even, like, the final, like, person you run into, like, in the climax of the story goes, like, so you're gonna nod or shrug. And that's your 2 options. Literally has no effect on what you say. It's just, like, you either nod or shrug or crack knuckles.
We're gonna fight. You got a problem with that? Crack.
The twist in the end was nice of the storyline. There wasn't much to it, but it was still interesting. So I give it, that's why, it's a 6 out of 10, not a 5 out of 10. Is that the story's good, and it leaves you at a sort of a cliffhanger, so there's going to be a second one, and I'll probably go pick it up, though, still.
Cool.
I hope they just work on the bosses more in the next one, because all the enemies that you fight were fun, the mini-bosses are fun. It's just when you finally got to the bosses, they were just super lackluster, sadly.
Yeah. I don't know, it's like, whenever, okay, so you were describing the monster, or the boss fights earlier before. Did you ever watch the movie Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, if you haven't seen the movie Grandma's Boy, anyone listening, go watch Grandma's Boy. It's fun.
Totally worth it.
But it's just like a comedy about this, 40-year-old video game designer. And anyway, long story short, whenever we're describing bosses, it always reminds me of this one scene in Grandma's Boy where he's sitting next to all these 8-year-olds at a little kid's table. And he's like, what you gotta do to beat the boss on level 9 is shoot him 3 times with the magic arrows, then do a spinning downward thrust, and then level 9's over. That's it. It's funny to it's funny to explain the boss was really hard. He had these mechanics and stuff like that. But I'm sure anyone is I don't care about them, anyone outside is I'm not playing the game right now.
I know. It's just one that's the reason why I scrubbed this. It's the one thing that frustrates me about the boss. It's ugh.
No, and I'm not saying it to
no, I know.
I'm not saying it to shit on you.
Fuck you.
It always just reminds me of that. I love when he's you just gotta shoot him 3 times with the magic arrows. Easy.
That's with every boss in the game. You just shoot them in the end. There was no really, I guess there was one mini boss you run throughout the time is that you do enough damage to them and they shoot out their cooling cores and you have to destroy the cooling cores before they get brought back into it. That was, I think, one of my favorite mechanics in the game for our boss fight. Because every other one, you just shoot them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. did you play anything else, or was that pretty much it?
No, sadly, I was so busy with work, just trying to get back home early, that I was only getting a chance to play Ruiner.
No problem there.
What about you? Have you played anything else besides Evil Within 2?
Yeah, so I'm done talking about that game, honestly. Like, I had someone mention to me, like, comment, and he was like, all you do is talk about the Evil Within. I was like, okay, fine, well, I guess I kind of mentioned it now, but we're not sticking on that subject.
I was gonna make the joke too,
here.
I forgot, I totally forgot because this is our 5th episode, and I was kind of excited, so I forgot to do it. It's like, now to talk about Evil Within right when we started this podcast, just to piss you off.
You tuned in for Evil Within? Great, because apparently we just can't get enough about it. No.
We hate it, but we talked about every podcast.
Yeah, right.
So
okay.
Did you beat the game, though?
I did, but that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to say.
All right, just a quick rating then after you beat it. Just like quick rating. That's it, nothing else.
Probably a 5 out of 10 or something.
5 out of 10 game, but you wouldn't pick it up.
I think the first one was better. That's all it boiled down to.
Okay.
Anyway, in terms of games that I've been playing this week, though, I played some PUBG with the boys.
So want to play that game.
Yeah, honestly, you should just pick it up. Like,
well, yeah, I'm gonna be here for 3 weeks now. I can definitely pick it up.
I would look into it's expensive. I know that you have like issues with your laptop. I might want to double check it because.
I don't have any issues at all with my laptop. Runs games well. It just my laptop broke so many times. I have an Alienware laptop, by the way, so I probably won't be ever sponsored by them. But yeah,
fuck you, Alienware. By
basically,
the way.
Yeah, I bought this very expensive laptop, and I know that it's stupid. I'm a gamer, and I actually know a lot of things about computers. And Alienware is not the best thing to buy. It's really overexpensive. I just bought it because I was really down the dumps one time in my life, and I just needed to buy something to make myself feel better. So, like, what's the most expensive, like, nice thing to get that's all glowy and shit? I'm like, Alienware. They have really nice, fancy stuff. So I bought their best model they had out, and my God, it caused me so much trouble in the first, like, 6 months I've owned it. The sound system would break all the time. The internet would not always work on it. It would like freeze sometimes. I had to send it back like 4 times, I think, just to get the thing back working condition. And so the sad thing kind of pissed me off that I'm in the last process. That if anything else goes wrong with my laptop and I send it in, they're gonna give me a brand new model laptop. So I'm kind of wishing it breaks one more time so I get the next best model they have out now because they have a new version of this one.
Just fucking send a bullet through the screen and be like, oh, you forgot to fix this. And it's just like fucking like, you know, the motherboard's hanging out. It's like bleeding. It's just like
There's
bleeding.
Been so many times I'm tempted to just throw out my window. I live in a 3-story building, and I'm just so tempted to throw out the damn window.
Yeah,
it's just it just blew up randomly. I don't know what happened. It came home and it just.
I got it back in pieces. What did you guys do to it?
Sir, we sent your laptop back to you like 6 months ago. I'm like, I know, right? It took forever to get it back.
Yeah, I mean, if
I'm sure it can run it. I'll have no issues running it. The game looks nice, but it's not that graphically, heavy. It looks like. So.
Yeah, like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is a good game, and maybe it's just my connection, but it runs really. It like stutters a lot, I guess I should say.
Is it the server though? I heard that the server's not too good.
No, but like the way that things feel and move, I mean, maybe I'm just used to a solo experience where like things don't feel so rigid, but
yeah. I
mean, like the grass and it just yeah, I mean, I'm probably, once again, it's probably just because I play a lot of solo games.
Yeah.
And it's a good game. Like, the mechanics
and everything. My girlfriend actually wants
to
play this game. She never plays games at all, but she's actually heavily interested in playing PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
I'm going to whoop her ass.
No, I know. She's going to get wrecked, but she really wants to play it.
Welcome to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I'm just going to team kill the shit out of her.
And, yeah, I mean, she's so excited. If I pick it up, and we have actually a computer back at our place that she can actually play it on, because it actually has a really good graphics card in it and all that stuff, and a good processor.
Well, so the last week when I was playing it, a couple funny things happened. This game is like totally prone to just like anytime you play, a story is going to break out. So one thing that happened is we always like to defend this town. It's called like Nova whatever. We call it Nova Scotia, but it's the most southeast town on the map. It's east of the army base. Anyone that hasn't played the game, good luck
Yeah, I don't know what
understanding
the fuck
any
he's
of what
talking
I'm
about,
talking
so
about.
don't worry about it either if you don't know what he's talking about.
It's an open world game, and you can like go to towns and find weapons. But we always instinctively go to the same area, regardless of like situation or anything. Like it could be way out of our way, but we always try to go to this place and defend it.
So you guys ever play PUBG? Now you know where to go to kill Ben.
Yeah, go to Nova Scotia, and you're gonna find me, and I will whoop you. Oh man, if my teammates and I aren't killing each other, we will kill you.
So confident.
It's a 50-50 scenario on that one. But so the last time we were playing, just yesterday, we were like hauling ass to get to Nova Scotia, and we were trying to find a car to drive over to this area. And we see a car go past us, and we're like, he's going to Nova Scotia! Like, he was going to our area, and we're like, then this big, like, camaraderie in the team chat comes out, we're like, we gotta defend the homeland! And stuff. So we find a car as fast as we can, and, it's just one fucking dude that we saw drive to the area. Like, the car was not filled with anything. I guess this guy just, like, decided to abandon his team. So, like, jokingly, we all get into this car, and I'm the driver, and I just reverse, like, 2 miles back into town, like, honking my horn, making a big ruckus, like, we're coming for you, motherfucker! And, I see his car where he parked outside the town. I just back up and smash into it.
Not quite at all, or Jesus.
Just like totally over the top dramatic. Like I have maybe a pistol to defend myself, and we smash into this guy's car, and like of course he's right there. Like we didn't see him right off the bat, but we hop out of the car, and he's like, you know, already aiming at us. Like we're in his iron sights. I just die immediately, and my friend like tries to get a single shotgun blast off, but it was pathetic. Like. The amount of stupidity that goes into that game for pride, I would say, is like a very unfair ratio. We gotta defend Nova Scotia. It is the one and the only, Mike. You always go to Nova Scotia.
Well, the thing I think why it's so easy to do that, because this is also like what I liked about Ruiner 2, is that you can just start another game instantly. So it doesn't really matter if you die, because you can just hop into another one.
Yeah, I mean, when your whole team dies, you can just find a new game and then just immediately go back into it, and then like, oh, we're going to Nova Scotia, you know, you just yelling it over and over on like in the plane where everyone starts, and you know, I don't know.
Dude, that totally reminds me of when we used to play Killing Floor together, and it just like every single time we played the farm level, it just like. We'd always go to the bridge. We'd fuck everyone else on the team. We'd go to the bridge. Everyone would go like, what are you doing? He's like, they gotta pay the toll.
Yeah, so like Killing Floor, it's as Mike is saying, it's a team-based game, kind of like...
It's a horde game, a horde mode game where you just fight off a bunch of enemies, AI enemies.
Yeah, but you can get like a team of 6 or 8 or something, yeah. And like, as stupidly as it is, Mike and I would just take the 2 like him and myself, we would abandon the rest of the team, and then we just go off into the woods and defend like this fucking bridge.
Yeah.
Like, it was so stupid, but it made the game kind of fun.
That's all we'd be screaming at chat too. It's like every single time we be bitches, like, we gotta make him pay the toll.
Yeah, anytime any monster wanted to go over the bridge, he
had to pay a toll.
He had to pay the iron price.
I just loved it. That's just all that reminded me of that.
Pretty much. No, pretty much that is pride always trumps strategy.
But it's like when you can make those moments in games, it just makes the game 10 times better.
Yeah, like if we were trying to be strategic every single game, like it would just be hard to make it more interesting, I suppose, or do something aside from like the norm. But occasionally we do try to strategize, and you know, sometimes we'll like go to the larger towns like Pochinki or something, and we'll just get fucking demolished. Or like strategy is it's such a 50-50 chance in that game. If you go to like somewhere super populated, you've got a good chance of finding good guns. If you go to somewhere that's totally isolated, you know, you might not find anything.
Yeah, or you might just find a jetpack, like just a jackpot, just randomly.
What?
Sorry, jackpot.
Oh, a jackpot. I was like...
with weapons, you know, like in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, there's always a risk and takes in that game.
I was like, holy shit, you found a jetpack in the game?
That's the one thing I heard know about that game is like you said, if you go in the middle of nowhere, you can find almost nothing, but there's that rare chance where you just get like the best equipment right off the bat in this random barn.
And see, that's the beauty of Nova Scotia is that this town is in the middle of the fucking, or sorry, not in the middle, but it's on the wayside and it's really hard to get to on the map. But if you can get there, no one else is gonna be there because it's so out of the way. I'm giving you guys all my trade secrets. I don't know why I'm doing that. Stay the fuck out of Nova Scotia. We don't want
Nova Scotia becomes the next populated area.
God damn it.
The air just jump forward Nova Scotia.
It's so fucking stupid. It's gonna end up biting me. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else though besides PUBG?
Yeah, so aside from PUBG, and this is kind of stupid, but earlier this week I picked up a game for 50 cents
Oh my god.
Just to give myself a little bit of variety in gameplay.
What's the game called?
It's called Flicks and Chill.
Flicks and Chill. I'm looking this up.
Being like Netflix and chill, but it's pretty much a dating simulator, but like a silly dating simulator. And I guess it used to be like a free game on like addictinggames.com or whatever the fuck wherever the hell people go for games now. But
it's not showing up on the list. I'm gonna just go through your gaming.
It's
Flix.
Oh, the way that you spell,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
there it is. Oh my god.
But so pretty much it gives you scenarios to like, oh, you've got a date with this girl, and then like she'll say like, oh, do you like scary movies? And it'll be like you get 3 options, and you can say like, yeah, I love scary movies, or no, I don't, or like, fuck you for liking scary. Like one of them is clearly not the right answer every time, and so like it's 50 cents, so I'm not worried about being like, oh, why did I spend all my money on this dating simulator? Even if I got 5 minutes worth of fun out of it, it would have been worth it.
87 reviews, and it's very positive.
Oh yeah, no, I would give it a good review.
Oh my god.
The first date, I'm slowly learning, Mike. I'm slowly learning.
How to pick up chicks.
The first date I went on, I got coffee thrown in my face at the end of it.
Oh god.
So, I mean, it was a pretty low bar to start, but I tried to pick a fight with every guy that I came across. And the girl caught on to that. I also didn't tip the barista, so she was not flattered about my lack of generosity.
No, that's always a big deal with women. You gotta treat your servers right.
The second time, I didn't pick a fight with as many guys. But I guess a hipster ex-boyfriend of hers came over and started chatting her up. Yeah, and I tried to kick his ass, and then I also didn't want to tip again because you might need that money, but so she ended up leaving with him in that one.
What? You lost to a fucking hipster? Dude, come on.
She said she had to go to the bathroom, and then that bitch. Anyway,
she's a slut. You know it.
Well, okay, and then the third time, I ended up beating that scenario where it was like a coffee shop, and then the next scenario was in a club.
Oh god.
And this is where I shined. Let me tell you, Mike, because I started out, and the second that you get into the club, it gives you the option of walk across the club, fist bump across the club, or moonwalk across the club. Like, what would you do? I moonwalked the fuck out of it.
So you gotta moonwalk right off across that floor.
So, like, I mean, it gives some shoddy animation along with what you pick, and yeah, I fucking moonwalked across that bitch, and I mean, I feel like the rest of the simulator didn't even matter. Like, the panties, like, blew off of her waist, and she was like, just take me.
Just take me.
But yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Did you beat it?
Well,
is there a way to beat it?
I didn't beat, there's like 5 scenarios, and I only beat 2. I'm still learning, Mark. Gotta learn not to grind on the girl next to me at the club. It doesn't work out well. At the end of that scenario, actually, though, I ended up fucking the owner's daughter of the bar. So, like, I mean, that's...
Okay, that's a win.
I know. So, I guess, I'm getting there. I've gone from completely hopeless to asshole.
Dude, all matters is that you get laid, and if you get laid, you beat the game.
See,
so I think you're basically done then.
Yeah, and I don't think the game is, like...
bad?
Or no, I don't think the game is the game is too subtle where it's not going to explicitly like just have you just like you like it's not going to ever end with like that going on, but but no, I mean, I'm pretty sure like that bar owner's daughter, she was pretty enamored by me, or pretty
yeah.
Yeah.
So he plays different because like all it says in the description is like meet Trevor, meet Anthony, meet Jasmine.
Yeah, so
meet
like
Mark and meet Jason.
Yeah, so those are the 5 different episodes. So
Okay,
each
so you play
episode
someone
is
else.
yeah, like you start out episode 1 and it's like coffee shop, and then which one's my date, and then like you can pick anyone in the coffee shop, like even dudes, and it'll be like, hey, are you Samantha? And the bro you're talking to is like, are you kidding? Or something.
I just like Trevor looks like the biggest douche ever. He's wearing his hat backwards.
Yeah, well, Trevor's the guy that I walked across. Or no, yeah, Trevor was the first scenario.
Yeah, he's in the coffee shop.
Okay, yeah.
Anthony
was the guy I moonwalked across the club with. Dude, Anthony's got it. Let me tell you, I was able to bust a move or two. But yeah, so that game's called Flicks and Chill, and it was just funny. But I mean, it's $1 and it's 50% off as we're recording this. Like, it really wasn't a problem at all to pick it up and just have a good time with it.
That's too funny. I'm surprised that that's like the one game that you want to talk about is just this game you picked up.
I don't even want to talk about it. I think it's funny to just play a random game. Like we try to have the we try to do those like, oh, what did you play this week? What did you play this week? And it always feels like it's like games I've always heard of or something. It's fun to like.
No, I give you that.
I mean, it's $1 game. Like, anyone listening to this could very easily be like, I feel like wasting the next hour. And, like, it's not a bad game. In fact, it's kind of a steal. For $1, it's, like, quite a bit of work went into it. The animations are pretty good. Fluid.
It has a very nice style to it.
Yeah. I mean, like, out of all the things you can buy for $1, like, you can't even buy a cheeseburger for $1. Like, I mean...
No. I think sometimes you can.
Okay, you can go to like the $1 menu at McDonald's and get the shittiest cheeseburger.
Yeah, like
for
the smallest burger they give you.
I'm just saying that, like, in terms of bang for your buck, it's definitely worth it.
No, and now Gabe had out a couple of minutes in our podcast, so yeah, more than worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so.
So that's what we've been playing for this week, and now we're gonna be moving over to our top 5s. Just cutting off Ben.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I was gonna say the same thing, but fine, you can go ahead and do it. No, but okay, so top 5. This week we're going to go with top 5 horror cliches, meaning like what kind of scenario is
your favorite type of thing you see in a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You enjoy the most watching or playing in. This is going to branch over to video games and movies.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever, we're not limiting it to exclusively one or the other now. It can be video games or movies, books, any kind of medium at all. But just like what is your favorite scenario in a horror setting, or like also at the same time what is the most effective to you, or like what do you appreciate the most about it? So
I started last time with the top 5, so now Ben's gonna start this time.
Okay, yeah,
so
sure.
Once again, we're doing the order of where we each first give our bottom 3. And then we switch off, and then the person gives their number 2, and then we switch off, and then we give off the number 1s.
Yeah, so kind of build up suspension there, or
just a way to split it up whatever. And all that.
Okay, so my number 5, and this one is just it's kind of a given, but that's kind of what the like number 5 spot is. It's like anyway, so my number 5 is slasher films. Being like the main antagonist is using a knife, or I mean, I'm thinking of like Freddy here, like if he's using claws or whatever. Like it's very much like just a guy wielding a blade or something like that. And the reason I bring it up is the reason it made the list is because it's so iconic. Like I took a film class, and I guess like the interesting thing about slasher movies is that
the boobs. There's always boobs in them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like watching them.
For the titties. That's why it's number 5.
I shit you not. They have the best titties.
Well, it kind of we're joking, but it kind of goes along with that. So, like when I took this film class, they were saying that the reason that slashers are so effective is because there's that like the guy or whoever, it's always like some damsel in distress, and he's always impaling her, he's always penetrating her with like the knife or whatever. Like it's a very there's reasoning for it, like it's thematic, and it has subtleties to it. And so that's why you see a lot of slashers, is because I mean, I'm not sure that every single person had this idea, but that was kind of like where it where its inception began, is that slashers are kind of like, this this sexual hunger, typically like a sexual hunger or something, or because once I said damsel in distress, it's always this hulking guy, male figure, and always going after like women or something. So yeah, I mean, slasher is number 5. It's just it's everywhere. You can't escape a slasher.
Well, they're usually good because Scream's a good movie. Not like I know there's a bunch of Screams out there, and they're not all good ones, but the first one was really good. Freddy's a good one. Jason's also a good movie. Michael, they're all slashers. They're all really good movies in the end.
Yeah, like every classic iconic horror film, I mean, it's like a 60% chance it's anything other than a slasher, and then the other percentage is like, he's wielding a knife, or he's like, that is his weapon of choice.
What else too, actually, what I think about is that not just slashers, but basically almost most horror movies, it's always a female main lead in the end. When I think about it,
yeah,
you're more likely to get a female main lead out of a horror movie than any type of other genre of a film at all.
Mm-hmm.
Except for video games, actually. Video games is usually a dude. You hardly get a woman really in horror games.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, because I was gonna say that, like, I mean, not to be sexist, but I think, like, women are naturally, I mean, like, men are typically more powerful, and if you play as a woman, you feel like
less
like you can't take them on with brute force, essentially. And yeah, so I mean, I think that's interesting. That's actually also where Buffy the Vampire got its idea, if you ever heard about this. So like Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
everyone knows who Buffy is, don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, so the director, was it Joss Whedon? I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know people's names, I'm shit.
Well, he's a pretty popular dude, but pretty much, like, that was the premise of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is damsel in distress walks into an alleyway, and, monster comes after her, and then he was like, well, what if the girl was the one that emerged from the alleyway? Like, what if she was the victor? What if she was just, like, this badass, ass-kicking girl?
Yeah.
And that's like, that's where Buffy the Vampire Slayer came from.
Good show, too. Loved it as a kid.
Yeah. Okay, so, and then once again, that also kind of reinforces slashers. She uses, like, vampires, like the wooden stakes. Like, even though it's not specifically a blade, you're impaling them. It's that same kind of, like, sexual connotation, sort of.
So she does it to get the turn on.
Yeah,
she totally... It just turns around the fuck on. She gets super wet down there every time she stabs a vampire.
Dude, why do you think she wears, like, fucking skin-tight rubber pants all the time?
Made me watch, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Got me, honestly, it's the thing that kind of gets people through the door. It's like, I don't know, another vampire show? But then they see Buffy's like, all right, I'll watch it.
Dim titties. No.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, she was like, what was she, in high school in the end?
Yeah, well,
okay,
I mean,
so it was okay when we were younger. It was okay when we were younger to say that. Nowadays, we're older.
Now we're just two creepy fucking dudes.
Not as much, but she's like twice her age though.
We can edit this part out, right? Just so the cops don't come after us later. Yeah, Buffy was hot. Was she was like a junior in high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my number 5. Number 4 is and once again, sorry, before I move on, I want to give like a main overall theme as to why I picked that one. So slasher, the theme for that is just it's classic. So that's why it's number 5. My 4th one is the zombie apocalypse, because and the reasoning for that is that it's this never-ending horde. Like, you're never truly ever away from the danger. There's just always more and more zombies. Like, it's like movies 28 Days Later or something, like those movies can never be transferred over to another type of horror film, because it can't be like 28 Days Later after like Jason's been mercilessly killing everyone. Like
Jason just killed everyone on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, in England.
Yeah, like zombie movies are the only movies that we can have where like people are totally like unbeknownst to everyone else that like they're just isolated, or like I mean, I mentioned 28 Days Later, but they did the exact same thing in The Walking Dead. There's that really cool idea where like you can come into the zombie apocalypse at any time and it's going to be a different experience, but also it's going to be just as prevalent as like if it just started happening. Like just the fact that you're completely overrun kind of makes the zombies scary. You can never ever turn your back for a second or like let your guard down. So that's my number 4, and like on top of that too, like everyone has used zombies, so it's hard not to just at least. I was going to just honorably mention it, but I mean, once again, it's like slashers. It almost reaches that same level of like classicness where it's like, just been around.
Yeah,
because
like that's gonna be one of my subjects too. Things I bring up, like because something's overused doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's just good, and that's the sad thing about zombies. Like people are tired about zombies because they see it everywhere. But I mean, because it's overused doesn't mean it's still bad. I mean, sure, it's overused, but it's still good in the end.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, there's a reason that it is popular.
Yeah, because it's actually a good thing. It's just sad that, we pound it to the ground because now people are not much of a fan of it anymore.
Yeah. And kind of... So, I also had read something about, like, why zombies are zombies. Once again, it's kind of, like, a bit more into the subtleties of where the monster came from. But I guess that people that do... like really break down movie themes and whatnot. They were saying that zombies are such a popular idea right now because it's this, like they eat like the typical classic zombie eats brains and there's 100 of them, and people were saying that the idea where zombies originally came from is like you're scared of just society. Like, you look at society and you're like, oh, what a bunch of idiots or something, or like, society is stupid, F society, something like that. But like that's the theme, is man versus society when it comes to the zombie apocalypse, is that, like, I mean, not to get too much into like politics, but anyone that's like for Trump or anyone that's against Trump, you see the other side as like, oh, what a bunch of, idiots or retards or whatever. Like, they're so dumb. Like, the zombie apocalypse, supposedly, that's where it came from, is like this, you see everyone around you is kind of like being dumb, and that's why they eat brains, is like they're trying to. Well,
also too, with the whole society thing, to help you with that, is like not only is the movie like add that zombies are scary, but also adds a theme too that the people that you're trapped with also becomes an issue too, of just how you deal with it together. It, like George R. Wells also handles everyone in this.
George A. Romero.
Thank you. It was just terrible.
George Orwell.
You know what I'm talking about. Thank you for correcting me. But like in this first one, it was his first one was Dead by Daylight, and
it wasn't.
It was not, what was it? Sorry,
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, sorry.
You're thinking of the game again, Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I am. I was just looking right at it. I just have it up. I was thinking the update came out for they did it, but it was not only scary about dealing with the zombies, but also the people just dealing with each other socially, because it was during, when racism was really a huge issue, and one of the person there was black. There's like some of the people there were racist as well, and all of them just trying to survive against this thing while trying to deal with each other at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
like every zombie movie always has people just lose their shit with each other every single time. It's like, I don't like you. Fuck you. I'm gonna kill you. Or it's like, I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna just leave this group because this group sucks.
Yeah, no, and I mean that makes sense. Like Walking Dead, a huge theme on top of just killing zombies is like creating this new community or whatever, and it makes sense that like, if zombies are seen as a form of society that they disagree with or that they're scared of, or like, they're these brainless idiots, like it makes sense that another common theme would be that, the community that you're trying to develop or the people that you're trying to form into a group are also like, oh, they're like idiots, they don't understand the same morals that I want to like implement into this new government or like society or whatever,
or just how to run this group of survivors.
Yeah, so I mean that makes sense. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is I picked it because of realism, but my number 3 is religious cult scenario, where
I haven't seen many cult movies.
Yeah, well, so like I thought of this because there's that new not Fallout. What's the game? Far Cry. So Far Cry 5 is coming out, and that one has to deal with like a town in Montana, and they like it's some religious cult, and
a religious cult comes in and starts taking over the town.
Yeah, but
and it's the town people trying to get them out of the area.
Yeah, but there's also like Children of the Corn fits that scenario as well. Corn, yeah. And so I like movies like that because it's not like this, uh, it's not unrealistic like a zombie apocalypse, and at the same time a slasher. Like, it's not like this completely unkillable, like, hulking mass figure. It's a group of people that, like, are crazy, and they have these really weird beliefs, and, like, that's their driving force. And I mean, anyone that is very into their religion, they are going to passionately pursue that. Like, in that sense, it is realistic to me, because I mean, obviously there's not one person that agrees with every single religion or follows every single religion. I'm sure that you look at other religions and you say, wow, like, I can't believe that they believe that this happened in their book. Like, that's crazy. Like, everyone is able to look at someone and say, like, wow, I can't believe that you believe that. Like, I can't believe that you that's crazy that you believe these things. I mean, that's kind of where, like, the religious cult feels real to me, is there's, like, that, like, idea of sacrifice for the greater good. Yeah. And I mean, when people start doing that in movies or in games, it does feel scary to me. Like, there are cults out there, and it's crazy that, like, there's these dudes that'll, like, start a small community and, like, tell women, like, oh, you've got to have sex with me or else you're not going to be saved by the divine
That's actually
savior.
why I used to be afraid of small towns, because that mentality of, like, everyone knowing everyone. It's like they especially know, like, what they do as well, and, like, they know, like, every part of their lives. I always found that very creepy.
Yeah, and exactly. Like, that's, I don't know, like, I guess religious cult movies, because of the realism, it always got to me more than most other things.
No, yeah, and that's why certain things on my list are too like that as well.
Yeah.
Just like the realism of them.
So those are my top three, or those are my lower three, I should say. So number 5 are slashers, because they're classic. Number 4 are zombie movies, because it's, this inescapable situation. You're never going to not have to think about zombies for the rest of your life, essentially. And then number 3 is the religious cult scenario, where it just feels really realistic to me, I guess. Like, I can see that on a personal level.
Yeah.
Of, like, something that could actually happen. Of, like, a big group of people being like, oh, let's just, we gotta save ourselves by killing everyone else or something.
Alright.
So, Mike, you do yours. What's your top 5?
Okay, so my top 5, starting from the bottom, of course. The bottom is exorcism movies. And the reason why that's there is because I found that...
Exorcism.
Yeah, exorcism movies, because they always said, like, the best, like, monotone in their movies. There's always, a perfect amount of tension. And it always does, like, the perfect build-up for me. They're not, like, the scares for me, but they always have this always ominous feeling that always gets to you. And, everyone I watch so far is so good. And that's why I enjoy them so much.
So what are some other... Because obviously there's The Exorcist.
There's The Exorcist, and then I also include our favorite horror movie.
Oh, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little bit both of a haunting and exorcism, though, at the same time.
And there was also The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
I never saw that one. That one was scary
too.
as fuck, though.
And I enjoy those because they set, like, a great tone, and just, like, the tension, those are always great. They're not high on my list because you always kind of know their outcome in the end, but I just enjoy that constant just tension they have set in them. Mm-hmm. And I was talking with my girlfriend too, and we were just looking at horror films to watch, and that's one thing we just really enjoyed watching those too, is like there's always that nice amount of tension that has in there. It always gets you. It wants you to, but it doesn't hit you so hard that it keeps you from watching it. It just always keeps you like this nice creepy sensation. Especially when you see what's happening to them over time until, like, the climax, or to them just slowly being taken over by some evil spirit or demon. And it's just, like, it's just so nice. And they just do it, like, most movies do it so well. I mean, I've seen some where they just flop so hard, but in the end, that's more of the director's fault, in the end.
Yeah, and a lot of those movies, too, they kind of go on... I do like the progression where, they start out as someone totally normal, and then, like, oh, they've got a sickness, and then, like... Wow, there's some visible scarring going on your face.
It builds the character so well, and I just love that. And it does a wonderful job in that.
And the fact that it's like a friend or a family member too, it also kind of like pits people against each other. Mm-hmm. Like I get that. That makes a lot of sense.
And just like the idea too, just them just being just trapped in the end, because it's because there's always in those movies just that wall of the unbelievers and the idea of the situation that's happening. It's in every single tongue. It's like everyone's like, oh, the Christianity stuff, they don't do that stuff. And like even the church is like, yeah, we don't technically do this because we can't just be openly doing this stuff in the end. And it's always that feeling of just trappedness that you can't get people to believe you, just the absurdity of it. And every exorcism movie kind of plays off of that. And I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's why that's number 5. For number 4, it's monsters. Just like when there's an overall monster, like It or Jason or Freddy. I count those as just like kind of when there's just a singular enemy, like Alien Prometheus. I always enjoy those a lot.
Okay, so singular enemy.
Yeah,
monster.
Singular enemy monster. Because it's nice just to have. It's fun because I just enjoy those sometimes. There are some fallacies I have with them, but I just enjoy watching those movies because it's nice to have just a single common enemy. And usually then there's sort of rules built around them then that you can get attached to. And I love it when they... I'm sorry, am I boring you? I'm just looking at Ben yawn.
Man, when is this over? What time is it?
Fuck
no,
you.
I apologize, sorry. I'm just...
It's all
See,
good.
these are the subtleties that we don't get to, like, joke about
No,
when
I
we're not
know.
in the same room now. I
And
could be
it's-
like, Mike, your zipper's down or something.
is it
Oh, you
really?
just fucking checked. No, it's
Well, I
not.
was like, okay. I was like, God damn it. But, like, it's back onto though. But that's what I like about single monsters, because it builds, like, every single time then. Because, like, when it's a single monster movie, they have their own way of building rules on it. And, like, what they can and can't do and then how to face them. In the end, though, when you learn how to beat them, they become less scary. But I still enjoy it. But it also then does lead to some issues with it, though, as... a lot of times in movies, they break their own rules, and after that happens, it kind of goes like, what the fuck happened there? And it kind of takes it out a bit. To give a small example, the recent movie called It came out, that one. And to give it like one issue that I had with it is just like, near the climax, the kids are going into the sewer to get the creature and all that stuff. And
Is this a spoiler free or...
yeah, it's spoiler free. And it's like, everyone knows it. It's the oldest movie out, and it's been a book forever, so everyone knows that it lives in the sewers. Or, because it even tells you in the beginning of the movie, too. And then it's like, the kids are down there, and then randomly, one of the kids get teleported away from the group. And I'm going, well, if he could just teleport people anywhere he wants to, why is he having such a hard time to actually get people at all? And it's like one of those stupid moments. It's just like, alright, so if he could just teleport people, then he would really have no issue at all killing anyone if he ever wanted to.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to have like a specific set of rules for a monster and keep it consistent, I guess. Is the big thing.
But like, as soon as you lose that consistency, it takes me out of the movie. Like, a lot of people can give it a pass, but for me, it's like, as soon as you break the rules, it's like, alright, buddy, not just you're just breaking my realism completely. Because I know it's hard to keep someone in it because, it's a monster, especially like an evil fucking clown. But still, it's like one of the things that bothers me about that. And that's why it's not higher up on the list. Is because it's actually kind of a big issue for me. And then for number 3, this one was a debate for a fight for number 2, but in the end, for number 3, it's vampires. And vampires are up there for the exact reason why monsters are on the bottom. Below it is that vampires are always, every single vampire I've seen always has the same set of rules about them, and I've always enjoyed them for that. It just like, everyone knows what vampires are, everyone knows their weakness, and sometimes, yes, some vampires are not weak to crosses or stuff, but I've always just enjoyed vampire movies because I know exactly what I'm getting to. I fully understand the creature and all that stuff, and it's always interesting for me to watch that and to see how people play off of it and try to make their own story from it.
Vampires in general have a really cool background.
Yeah.
I mean, they were spawned from... If I'm supposed to fully... agree with what I've seen, vampires were spawned from Vlad the Impaler, like an actual dude that lived. And, I mean, granted, they were, like, stories to kind of, like, make him seem like an actual monster versus just the mental psychotic person that he was.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that's another scary thing about vampires. But, so completely aside from that, another thing that's cool about vampires is that they have sort of like a romantic thing to
exactly.
them.
That's what I enjoy about them too, as well. Like, I think a lot of people have seen The Diary of a Vampire.
Is that the one with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, or is it Vampire's Diaries? I forget which order it goes.
I don't know. Either way, I haven't seen it. But I've
that's
heard...
a good one, but it's also really long.
Well, there's also like Interview with a Vampire.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
There's just so many. Yeah, you might just want to look it up because honestly, it's
Yeah,
hard to
Interview.
it's hard to distinguish one from the other. There's too many
Yeah.
vampires.
Interview with a Vampire. I think it's actually called Interview with a Vampire. Yeah, it's Interview with a Vampire.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's a good one. And then what's that? There's that comedy vampire movie that.
Oh, it's What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows, because that's kind of like that's also a good one too. But yeah, vampires, I just love their stories. My favorite vampire movie is just called Vampire, and the main actor is James Woods. It's so good.
Man, you've got a fucking hard on for James.
James,
Woods
no,
over
it's
here.
just because of that movie. It's just that one movie. And by the way, we're watching that this week too. We're gonna have like a little horror movie week or something.
I'm down for that. Yep.
Because I have a whole bunch of horror movies that we can watch.
That's actually okay. So we'll talk next week about the horror films that we're watching this week. By the way.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go and buy a couple more movies too as well.
All right, I'm down for that.
But yeah, because I really want to rewatch that movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Don't take it seriously. Just enjoy it. That's all I gotta say about it.
That's not a very good setup. Though.
Oh, I know, but
we're gonna watch this movie. Don't really think you're going to like it. Just like it because I told you to.
True, but so then those are my bottom three. It's exorcisms, a single monster, and vampires.
All right. So my number 2 then is nightmare-based movies, and there's not a lot of them.
No,
so keep that in mind. I think it's interesting because kind of on the same sense of my zombie movie or my zombie pick for number 4, Nightmare's number 2 because there is constantly that like no escape type of situation.
Yeah.
But also the fact that it can take any shape and form, really. Like, I think anyone thinks of Freddy Krueger the first time that you hear, nightmare-ish movies. I mean, the fucking movie's called Nightmare on Elm Street that he's in. And, I mean, as I'm talking, I can't really think of another one, so I'll just stick...
It bases off of people's fears.
Yeah, okay, so, like, it's not necessarily a nightmare, but more like,
Psychological?
Yeah, like, sort of. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, where they can just like mess with people mentally, like they can see stuff or like things interact. Like
basically, there's like no way out. You're just fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that. That's always been a really cool thing to me because I mean, you don't know what shape the monster is going to be. It could be anything. You could be in your room alone and like the bed just like slowly starts to just like snap on you or something. Like
that always scared me as a fucking kid. Or when he gets pulled in the damn bed and like blood spurts out of it. God, that scared me. Like Freddy was like the one thing that got me the most out of anything as a kid was just Freddy because like you said, there's nothing you can do. You're just fuck. If you know his name, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only thing to do is run. Like you're in a fucking nightmare.
If you can even run sometimes. It's just like you're just fucked. Straight up fucked.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, so there's not really... I guess I don't have too big of an explanation for my number 2. It's simply just like there's that feeling of total loss of control. Like you are not the one that is calling the shots in a nightmare situation. Irregardless
what was
of how...
it called? Banadouche or Banaduke?
Babadook.
Bagaduke, so yeah.
The Babadook. Bag of douches.
Bagaduche.
Bag of douche.
That one was kind of like that too.
Well, that one, sort of. Like, they were, I guess they
more
were
just like helplessness. More like helplessness.
Yeah, like it wasn't necessarily like nightmare, but it was psychological, sure. But no, I mean, so I guess I don't really have too much to talk about my number 2. Like, simply, if you've ever had a nightmare, which I hope I don't hope everyone has, but I know everyone has. If you've ever had a nightmare, you know why nightmare as a horror cliche is scary. It just, like, you there's nothing you can do. There's that feeling of absolute helplessness.
And actually, that leads into why this is my number 2, and mine is more movies that are space-themed. Because it's exactly that. You're in space and you're just fucked. A lot of horror movies are like... I enjoy most horror movies that are based in space because of that reason alone. You're just stuck in this ship with this thing. It actually can be anything because there's also horror movies when they're just on boats or submarines and stuff. Or just in these underwater worlds.
Oh my god, can we please watch Event Horizon this week?
Yes, we can.
Can we watch it like 100 times?
I just enjoy those movies because it's exactly that, just this hopelessness, you know? It's like what Aliens, you know, opening thing is, no one can hear you scream in space. And it's like, and that's why also Alien is my favorite horror movie too. Is like one of them is my favorites. It's because you're in space, you know, you're just fucked.
No one can hear you scream in space. I could see that being the tag, and then like as the movie starts, the first scene is this guy like floating in space. He's just like, "Fuck you, John." You know,
He's just this random guy in space, just floating, just like slowly spinning in space.
John, what? I said, "Fuck you, John."
I can't hear you. You're in space.
Fuck you. In space, no one can hear. No, John can't hear you. What do you tell him to fuck off?
That is true. The scariest thing when you can't tell him to fuck off. But that's why that's number 2, and that was kind of debate. Like that was hard for me to pick between the vampire and that one, though. But it's the exact same reason why you fear nightmares. Why I always find space ones, you know, and be scared. Except for the Jason one, like Jason 10 when he's in space. That wasn't scary. It was still a good movie though.
I never saw that one. Jason goes to space?
Yeah, so like
how does that happen?
So I forget.
Was he like part of the NASA program?
I remember him being like, I think that was the one where he gets frozen, and then like these people find him, and then they bring him up on their ship for some reason, and then he just dethaws on their ship. I forget how he gets in space actually.
It's like NASA's going through all their training, and they're like putting a group together, and they're flipping through files, and then they're like, "What about this guy Jason? Does he have a last name? It doesn't say. Well, what about this mask? What's going on with this mask? I don't know. It's his thing. He plays hockey." and then they bring him in, and they're doing like all these tests, and they're like, "Well, strength training great, endurance fantastic. This guy can run for fucking days. He's strong as a fucking ox. He failed the psychological test, but I mean, this guy can survive in space. If we need him to do something, he will do it.
He's our guy."
and so the NASA team is just like, okay. You know?
There's everyone else is sitting there. They're just like all just staring at Jason. Jason's not even in a freaking suit.
He's not even wearing a space suit.
He's not even sitting in a chair. He's just staying there behind everyone. Everyone's going like, all right.
They're all buckled up in the spaceship, and he's still like holding his machete in his hand. And the two astronauts are like, "What's with the machete?" And the guy's like, they couldn't like release his death grip on him.
And the last one trying to take it away from died. They just said, screw it. It's like, why is he coming with this kid? He can breathe in space. Fuck.
Fuck, that's hardcore. Please. Once again, talking about mashing 2 movies together from a previous episode, can someone just like make Armageddon, but if Jason instead of Bruce Willis was in that? We're gonna have to get rid of this asteroid. And then Jason's just stabbing the asteroid while he's stabbing on it.
It's like everything on Bruce Willis dialogue is just with Jason just breathing heavily, and that's it.
Okay, I'm sorry. This tangent's gone on for way too long. But
that's so good.
Honestly, I'm surprised. How the fuck did Jason get into space? But whatever.
He gets like cryo-frozen on the planet Earth, and they bring him up on the spaceship. I don't know why. I think like humanity left Earth and they went by to explore Earth again. And so just like, oh, we found this body. Let's bring it up. And he dethaws and starts killing everyone. Oh, he also gets stuck in the body enhancement thing, so he becomes cybernetic too. So Jason becomes like part of a robot too. He gets like a robot mask. Yeah, no, just toss it in there.
Sure, he's a robot now. Go fuck yourself, audience.
Like, all the side characters are really good though in that one. Like all the protagonists who die, they're all great to listen to and watch.
It's funny to hear that because you would think anyone that gets a movie role in a movie called Jason in Space is probably like, oh, I'll make a quick.
Yeah,
$200 or something.
It's not like the best acting ever, but just their characters are really well developed and they're just fun to watch. You actually kind of care about them. They're funny. They have cool backgrounds, and they're actually pretty smart too, which is nice. They're not like that idiot trope you run into a lot of movies. It's like all split up and all that stuff.
Well, they're not smart, but I mean, you're saying that they're not stupid, but at the same time, they out of all the corpses that they could have picked up,
yeah. Well, they're also college students going on a field trip together with one professor.
Hey.
Yeah, right? It's until more. It just becomes more and more fucked up.
like they're not stupid, but let's all go on this college adventure and let's just fuck with this corpse. Oh, the one with the machete and the hockey mask. Yeah, this will be funny.
I actually think they know it's Jason too, as well.
Wouldn't it be funny if we gave him like cybernetic enhancements to make him really strong and more of a murderer? Oh, what a fucking joke that would be on our professor. April Fool's, bitch.
We gotta rewatch that movie.
God, no, I've never seen. I don't think I've seen a full. Okay, fine.
It's like, why not? Just have fun with it.
We're gonna start making a list.
Have you ever seen any Jason movie all the way through?
Not all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen the first one, and I've seen that one. I don't think I've seen any other one, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's gotta be. No, I saw Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, that one was. I'm surprised that one's actually people like that one. I thought it was very lackluster for me.
When it came out, I was really young, and I remember I was like, "There's boobies on the TV," and that's why I liked it.
I just thought like the characters were really shitty in that one, though.
There's a scene where all the camp counselors are like very vividly fucking each other, and I remember as like 10 years old, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Wait, what time did Freddy vs. Jason come out?
It came out in like 2000. I don't know. I would look it up. But
yeah, Freddy vs. Jason. I just remember that there's like one black character that said something very protective.
as Mike is talking about the movie, he typed into Google Freddy versus Black.
Let's see, 2003. So that wasn't that too long ago.
Yeah, so I was 12.
Yeah, I was 13.
So, I mean, that's what I remember. I was like, what? The
one of the things I remember of the movies is that the one black girl just said something really derogatory about gay people to Freddy. I'm like, okay, that wasn't necessary, a line to put in there. It's like some of the things I don't even feel comfortable saying out on the channel.
I mean, I know this is a horror film, but let's hold our heads up high, you know.
Well, no, I just like that just wasn't necessary to call him that. It's just you can call him anything you want, but you just call him a derogatory term for a gay person. I'm like, come on.
Oh man.
It's like you could have picked any line you wanted, and you picked that. It's like, come on. But yeah, that's my number 2's. Not that, but number 2 is space. We're going back, right? I completely lost track of what the fuck we're talking about. But yeah, my number 2 is space.
Okay.
Fuck, man, that trailed off far.
Yeah, that was like a 15-minute tangent there. Whatever.
So what's your number 1? Don't worry, I can't even see your list from here, so.
No, it's fine. I'm not trying to hide it from you. Don't look.
Well, I was just like saying, so I'm being surprised as you're telling when you're talking the podcast still.
Okay, so my number 1 is dual personality disorder movies, and there's not a whole lot of these. Dual personality movies and games too, I suppose. But
Excuse me.
I really like the idea. There was that one that just came out this year,
Split?
Right? Yeah, Split, and I never saw it because it was M. Night Shyamalan, but I remember...
There's someone I was when I was flying back here, this one next to me said that was actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it a lot. I didn't want to watch in the plane because, like, I usually just watch shitty movies while I'm on a plane. Like the latest Pirates of the Caribbean movie, or, which was just... That movie should never exist. It's the 5th one. Don't watch that movie. You would kill yourself.
Yeah.
And then I watched Kong, which actually was a good movie. But yeah, keep on going. But we should try to see if we can find Split and watch that.
Okay, I remember which movie I was gonna talk about. Well, to go along with dual personality, the movie Shutter Island. That's where I first came up with that.
Yeah, that was a good one too. We watched that together.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's just like...
And The Secret Window too. Like Ben pulled up a list, and like they're showing some up there, and The Secret Window was another good one too.
I haven't seen that one in forever. But I remember it's like Johnny Cash in a cabin or something, right?
He did a good job, though, and his acting was really good in it.
Yeah, he plays like an author. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like it because there's always... I like it because it's usually a twist ending. Like, they don't ever reveal to you that there is a split personality disorder until the very end.
Sorry for spoiling those movies for you.
Yeah, fuck you. Well, I mean, you don't know who has the split personality. Well, fuck, you kind of know it.
Yeah.
It's typically I'm gonna just stop fucking talking. But no, so like, yeah, I really like movies like that simply because
they usually have the best twist.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, now I'm not going to name any other movies now that I'm thinking about it.
Because it's kind of like, once you find it's like, oh, okay, then you know right off the bat.
Yeah. But I think that they're really... The reason I picked it is because I think that they're really unique.
Yeah, because they do have the best. They do have the best experience because you're usually confused and like what's going on, and when you finally find out at the end, it's like a split personality or like psychical disorder. It all comes to make sense in the end.
Yeah, and it just it's just like not an overly played trope too much. Like it always feels fresh whenever it occurs, I guess, because it doesn't really occur too often. And there is that kind of like shock ending that, I mean, I've never been disappointed whenever there's like a twist ending of some sort, as long as you don't really like, as long as it's not seen from like a mile away. Like
the director is M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. Now you know there's going to be a freaking twist at the end.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan. What a twist!
Yeah. I mean, he did make good movies. I'm not going to completely. He did make some good ones, but like there was just a period in his life where he just made absolute constant shit.
Okay, I'm trying to think of, since you mentioned that, I'm trying to think of all the good M. Night Shyamalan movies. There's
Unbreakable.
I don't remember that one. I remember Signs. I remember...
That was a good one. I enjoyed that one.
The Village was so-so.
That was awful. I hated that one.
But the last one that I really did like was called Devil, which was about people in the
I
elevator.
saw that one too. Unbreakable, yeah, it was with Bruce Willis. You know? He's basically a guy that can't really be hurt at all.
Okay, I don't remember that. But then also he did The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense, and obviously that one. Sixth Sense was a freaking fantastic movie. I enjoyed it. I don't really know many people who didn't like it. There's some people who don't like it, and that's totally fine, but majority of people I know actually enjoyed The Sixth Sense.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that...
And, like, Unbreakable is a very popular movie, but I'm not a fan of that one. But I don't think it's a bad movie. I think, like, The Village is a freaking awful movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so, I mean, like, obviously not all twist-ending movies are created equally, but I specifically appreciate ones that are...
psychological switches.
Split personality. Yeah. But yeah. So Mike, what's your number one?
My number one is actually zombies. I absolutely love the ideas of zombies. I enjoy watching films. I love playing them games, and just the idea of zombies is like in the end. I don't want there's people's like, oh, I wish there was a zombie apocalypse. I never wish that at all because then I lose the internet. I lose all the stuff I love doing in my life. I think it's stupid that people think it'd be cool that it actually exists. But it is like kind of this cool survival fantasy that comes with zombies of just exploring this empty world that was once filled with people is now filled with just creatures of the night. Or even not creatures of the night, just these creatures that are... I'm not a fan of running zombies. I think running zombies are bullshit just because of the whole physiology of it and that not really being possible in the end.
Oh, I mean, we're talking about zombies.
Yeah, I know, but I just think the idea of zombies, of the undead actually running, it just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, especially if you're decaying, your muscles can't keep your body running when you're fucking decaying. I'm sorry. I know it's stupid. I know it's stupid, but
I'm about to go off on you here, but fine, okay.
And by the way, 28 Days Later isn't zombies. That's actually not zombies. That is about...
I know, it's people, the rage.
It's just people under rage in the end.
I get that. That's fine.
And that's why it's cool with them running. I'm totally cool with them running at all times. And I still enjoy 28 Days Later. I mean, I think it's a great movie. But I just enjoy the idea of just trying to hold off in some places, collecting stuff. And just the idea of, too, like I was talking with Ben, of just trying to deal with the people that you're surviving with, too, as well. Because there's that whole new tension added. It's like, cool, we're getting through well, but how are we going to deal with each other now for, like, the rest of our times together as we just deal with this, almost just never-ending doom in the end?
How are we going to deal with each other? I don't know, but Facebook is down. Give me the gun! I'm going out in style.
I wouldn't be upset when Facebook is gone. I never use Facebook, except I use it more now because we have this whole thing together. I actually am just learning more and more about how to use the bullshit of Facebook in this ending world. But yeah, and I just love zombie games too. I mean, I don't really pick up much zombie games anymore because I had my fill with it, but I still think it's a great thing to play. Because our greatest moments, too, are just playing Nazi zombies, you know? And, just zombies are just a really cool theme and idea of just having this apocalypse with these certain type of enemies in them.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I mean, obviously, zombies made my list, and I can definitely understand, the appeal.
Yeah, and it just, there's so many things you can do with zombies, and there's so many different tones and themes you can apply to it, and that's why it's my number one. Yeah. That's why I enjoy it so much.
All right. Well, so to recap then on our list, so I'll start with mine. So Number 5 is slasher because they're just classics. Number 4 is zombie because there's just that never-ending horde sense of feeling to it. Number 3 is religious cult movies because they feel like they legitimately could happen. They seem realistic to me. Number 2 are nightmare movies because, similar to zombies, there's that no escape feeling. Anything and everything can come to life and try to kill you at any moment. And then number 1 is dual personality disorder. 1 because of the twist ending, but 2 because also it's typically pretty unique. It's not the fully explored genre, really.
Yeah. And then mine was, starting from the bottom, of course, is exorcism movies, just because of that great way of setting tone and the buildup of it. Number 2 is single creature, a single thing to face, monster or creature. And then number 3 are vampires, just their consistency, their story, their background, and just their overalling, just like what they are in the end. I just really enjoy them. 2 is space, just that ending, just being just fucked in space. And I just also love space too as well. I love everything about space, but also the idea, it also scares me at the same time too. And then number 1, zombies, because zombies are just an awesome idea. That's obviously an awesome idea because that's why it's been blown up so much, and that's why we see it almost everywhere, because it is a great theme. It's a great idea, and there's not much to say about it because you can just see it, in every media.
Yeah, and I think that at the same time too, there is that like man versus society, like the fact that there's so many of them, and you could just be attacked from any side at any time. Like, they don't sleep, they don't rest, they don't take breaks. They're just It's just a constant, always-on threat. Going to sleep is, could be a death sentence if you're not careful.
Watch, like, The Walking Dead. They can just magically appear in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, fucking Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. People like The Walking Dead. That's cool and all, but, man, that was my biggest thing why I just really also stopped watching it, besides the characters doing a 180 and becoming shit, is that it always seemed like the director would be like, oh, yeah, I forgot there's zombies in this, so we'll just throw them randomly, where they'd be, like, an open field where they can see, like, 100 miles away. It's like, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of horde of zombies. Like, you would see that and hear that for so far away. That's stupid as hell.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's such a, the first season was good. After that, and just the rest of it's shit. Sorry if you like it, and people say it got better, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not wasting my time with that.
I'm sorry if you like it, that's okay, but it's shit.
It is. Yeah. Oh, by the way, too, I pulled up this thing that we're going to watch too during the week. It's called The Void.
Okay, what is it?
And so it's basically, people said it's like Silent Hill, but done right, like the movies, and it's also cult-based too. And it's all done where in this like hospital area, and it's highly acclaimed. It's on Netflix, so I think we should definitely watch that. Okay. People would absolutely love it. This is like a Silent Hill theme. It's also kind of cult-based too as well.
Okay.
So it's something we should definitely give a watch.
So I'm seeing you've got your screen pulled up. Yeah. I'm seeing that there's one that was made in 2017 and 2016. Do you know which one?
I don't know why there's 2 dates. I think it was 2016.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll look into it after here, but
yeah, it's 2016. It's on. This is the one though. It's on Netflix, so we can watch it.
All right.
It's highly acclaimed. People loved it. They say if you really want an actually right Silent Hill movie, this is the one you should definitely watch this.
All right.
I've been finding the reason to watch it, and so after seeing your list, I'm like, oh, this would be a perfect thing to watch.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Okay, so that's our top 5. This week for a news story / rant, we wanted to instead go off of the idea of what makes a good stream, like a video game stream, because there's a lot of different versions out there. There's like PewDiePie, obviously he's like a bit more talkative, and I think he's got the followers for a reason. He does a pretty good job with commentary and keeping you interested.
He's also good looking too.
Yeah, he's sexy as hell. No,
and he has a foreign accent too. That gives him major points too. So.
Ooh yeah, baby.
But no, he's actually his favorite stuff. I actually enjoyed watching him play was when he played indie horror games. I thought he did a great job when he played indie horror games. That's why I enjoyed him the most when he played those.
Yeah.
And, like, he switched up from playing, like, these pixel horror games, too. And that's one I actually really enjoyed, because those are the games I'll never play. But, like you said, he's good in the commentary and stuff. But I think he's best when he plays those games in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And he always he's the only one I don't mind watching for the horror reactions. Usually, I don't really care at all watching face cam. I think face cams are really pointless in the end.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what we wanted to get at. It's like, if you like PewDiePie versus if you like more of like a silent player who, any emotions or any reactions he gives are going to be honest, versus someone that might dramatize it like I think it's fair to say that PewDiePie probably dramatizes his reactions a little
definitely.
bit.
No, definitely, for sure.
Okay. So yeah, so I just wanted to finish that statement before we got too much into it. But you were saying something there about his indie, his horror reactions.
Oh yeah, it's just like he has the most. I enjoy his reactions out of most people. It's just fun to watch that, but it's not too much over the top. After a while, it did get to it, so I don't really watch him anymore. He also stopped playing indie horror games because he wants to do more vlogging stuff, and I don't care for vlogs at all, really. I usually avoid those. I mean, I don't care for those one bit. So
what is a vlog? Just like a video diary?
It's basically a video diary. People, walk with the camera as they're just walking down streets or driving. They're just talking to the camera and stuff. Those are vlogs. And, people like them. I don't really care for them at all. I just like watching gameplays of Let's Plays of people playing games. Because, if people want to know anything about me, is that my main entertainment is just watching YouTube videos.
Is porn.
Well, that too. So I'm not going to deny that. Everyone likes watching porn. But, yeah, my main thing is watching YouTube videos, and barely just YouTube's only, and Twitch channels too. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really don't care for face cams at all. I usually prefer them not being there because there's no purpose. Because I prefer watching the gameplay with the commentary. And depending on the mood I'm in, I like comedy in mine. I also like informational too, depending on what mood I'm in and what I'm actually trying to get out of the video.
But it's hard to give proper information if you're playing a multiple hour long game. I mean, you're not going to be like, oh, this was created by this developer this year, and oh, this monster, was inspired by this guy.
Well, I don't want that. I mean, if I want a review, then I don't watch a Let's Play for an actual review. I watch how you make your videos. Those are videos I like watching for actual reviews, where you take only croppets of videos and actually have a consistent idea.
Shameless plug. Watch my videos. No,
it's true though. You do it really well, and I actually enjoy your style. I do enjoy your enjoy your Let's Play, and you do your comedy stuff. But I think you're really shining when you do your informative videos. I enjoy very simple cuts in there. I appreciate simple dialogue. I don't need over the top. I don't need you yelling at me. I just need your own opinion. And also, why I enjoy watching your videos too for interviews, because I actually know your style of play though. I actually know what games you like to play. That's why I usually have specific people I watch, like the Jim Musician. He's more of a gamer's point of view. Total Biscuit is also more of a serious gamer reviewer. And then there's the Escapist, where you get the view of the developing side of it, a more developer point of view.
Sure, yeah.
And so it's kind of just like one of those things of what you actually want to get out of the YouTuber or the streamer.
Yeah, and no, I can understand that. I'm very much like a simple type of streamer guy myself. That was a weird way to phrase it. I'm a simple kind of streamer guy, but
yeah, I don't know what that means.
Well, in this, yeah, right.
So that doesn't mean anything.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Oh yeah, that's right. Fuck Kanye West. We were gonna try to incorporate that every episode, right? No, it just sparked. I don't know why that sparked my attention, but no. So I like simple streams. I like. If the guy's gonna talk, then sure, but don't try to talk at every possible instance. Typically when I'm watching a game, if it's a story-based game, I don't really want to know too much about the story. I just want to know how a game feels if I was playing it.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to if someone new on a stream sees that their audience has grown by 5 viewers, and they try to re-explain what's going on in the story, I don't know if I appreciate that, because I'm not here to essentially have you force feed me everything that I'm going to learn from the game. All I want to know is how does the combat look like it feels, or
right.
how's the upgrade system or something. So I don't mind if there's small talk, kind of how we're doing here for this podcast.
Yeah.
We try generally to avoid spoilers. We give general summaries.
You more than me. I mostly don't fully care, because for me, I'm not much of a big person on spoilers. I don't really care if much things are spoiled for me, But I do try to avoid them when I. Yeah, I guess I try to avoid them as much as you do. But I care less about it, honestly. I'm kind of an asshole when I think about it for doing that, but it's true. It's because it's so much. It makes it so much harder to convey what I'm trying to say without trying to spoil something.
Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that.
Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
But yeah, so you watch it for the more of just to see how the game plays. I watch it for the more entertainment side, but I do not like watching single Let's Players. I only like watching when people play in a group of people. And I hate watching a single person play one game. I find that so boring and pointless.
Why? What do you think a group adds? I guess so.
Well, because there's more back and forth. You know, there's like this. You know, there's actually back and forth with someone. When someone just plays by themselves, I just know they're just talking to a camera. They're just talking themselves. And again, there's no real conversation.
On top of that, okay, so I can see where you're coming from. And I guess I appreciate that when there are multiple people, because it's really hard to have a conversation with your computer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously, we're doing this podcast right now, but essentially, like, if Mike wasn't here, you know, if I wasn't here, it's really hard to gauge, like, how interactive your voice should sound. A lot of times, people like, they end up whispering to their computer. They're like, okay, we gotta avoid this guy, and, you know, like, it's hard to really improvise, like, your attention when you're not talking to someone. It's a lot of times you're just kind of like trying to sound too much like you're trying to sound, and it sounds ingenuine. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I tried doing a few recordings. I'm trying to make videos, and my first set, I was trying to do it with me talking in it, and exactly that same issue. It just became such a hassle, and I couldn't really get into the game because I was more worried about me actually talking and actually sounding so people can hear me correctly and all that stuff, and it really just threw off my whole entire rhythm.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really difficult. Like, I've tried streaming as well, and it's really hard to balance those two of, like, keep the game interesting, and then, like, if you try to clutter it up with conversation, if you know how to do it, then, you know, go for it. Like I said, PewDiePie, he's pretty darn good with filling space.
I will not deny that guy actually knows how to play games by himself and actually keep a constant flow of conversation.
Yeah, but if you don't have anything to really talk about, then I just urge, don't say anything. Like, you know, if someone's joining your channel, unless you're a big name like PewDiePie or I don't even know who else. Like,
there's CNanners, there's Gassy Mexican, there's Total Biscuit.
Zero Punctuation is now doing streams. Like,
oh, is he?
Yeah.
I know that the Rooster Teeth cast all have their own streaming thing, actually.
Yeah, but, like, if you're not a big name that someone's just gonna, like, naturally go to your channel and start talking to you, it's really hard to, like, inspire conversation into your chat or inspire conversation from nothing.
Are we actually talking about Twitch streaming, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Those, I watched, I don't really watch as much of those. I watch a few people who actually do Twitch streamings. Like, actually, I watch quite a good bit of people. And what I enjoy about them is just people who play the game and who also still have somewhat of a dialogue with their chat. But I don't expect them to be fully engaged into it.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, that's like, it's people that actually have responses to make. They're not, you know, as you said, they're conversing with their chat. They're not trying to, like, talk about nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a reason for them to be chirping.
Basically, yeah. And most of the time, yeah, it just what people have heard, because I watch a lot of YouTubers and all that stuff, and they always get asked questions like, how do you just, you know, do what you do? In the end, it just basically you learn how to do it over time by just keep on doing it, and then you just learn your own niche.
Yeah, all right. It's interesting to me because, once again, I mean, like, I've tried streaming, and it's just interesting to think, like, talk to your computer until you get good at it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and it's hard. It's just like, it's hard to do that. But, like, for doing Twitch, I don't think it's as hard. Especially if you're playing with other people, though. It's twice as easy then. Mm-hmm. And that's why if I ever actually did do Twitch streaming stuff, I'd probably be doing it when I'm actually playing with other people in the end.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. Like, if
you're... Except for one game, I think about streaming Little Nightmares. and trying to get that one achievement about beating the game under like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about streaming that one now, trying to get that achievement, just to keep me motivated to keep on doing it, to actually get it.
Sure. Well, all right. So, I mean, I think as a finishing note, or like as to summarize my thoughts, I like streamers that don't bullshit. Essentially, if you've got something to say, then go ahead and say it. But otherwise, it's really hard to consistently speak about or consistently talk or keep up conversation when no one's saying anything in your chat or nothing important is really happening in the game. Like, I'm totally fine with streamers not saying anything for
same.
minutes on end.
No, same likewise. When I watch them, I just like to hear the comments, and when they're playing the game, they're like pissed, like that'd be fucking shit. Just what they're thinking at when they're doing their decisions and all that stuff. And it's not hard though to have a constant dialogue though of what you're doing, and I do appreciate when people are actually good at it.
Yeah. Well, all right. So,
is there anything else that we had also to talk about?
Well, okay, so there was a small thing I wanted to mention. The Nintendo Switch has a couple updates coming out, and they're pretty significant. So Nintendo is always getting kind of hassled about online capabilities and stuff. It's always been really hard to like.
They've always been shit at it.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty simple way to put it. But so this patch that they have is actually adding quite a couple features, and I thought it's worth mentioning. So first thing is that it's adding gameplay recording to a select few games right now, but
that's nice.
They're looking to expand it more.
I know that the Xbox does it. I don't know if the PS4 does it.
Yeah, PS4 has a share button.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so it's nice that the Nintendo's caught up with it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing about it, though, is that it can only record for the last 30 seconds of what you played. So it's not for, like, full Let's Plays or anything.
No, yeah, but if something happened that you wanted to save, like something funny or cool, you can save it.
And so right now, there's only a couple handful games that have it, but one of them's Breath of the Wild.
Of course it is.
And then they said, like, Mario Kart 8 is going to get it in the next patch, but... it's cool that they're like implementing that feature, I guess, and also it's really cool that the Nintendo Switch can even do that. I'm amazed with how skinny it is that it's
technically a handheld.
Yeah, the fact that you can record and upload 30 seconds of video. I mean, I'm just surprised. I guess like I didn't think it would have that much power.
I mean, it's the future,
We're in the future.
We are, man. The stuff we have now is fucking insane.
But then the other thing that is kind of a big deal is that now Nintendo Switches have wireless headset support. Before, if you didn't know, to connect to someone and talk to them through a game, you essentially had to download a Nintendo Switch app. You had to find them on the app, and pretty much like on your phone or on your tablet or whatever, like you would use that as a means of talking to your team or something. Yeah. And it was kind of bullshit. It was a really
it was bullshit.
Yeah.
It wasn't kind of, it was bullshit.
Yeah, it was straight up just like bad designing. And they were people were laughing about that because it's such an odd ass backwards way of doing it.
It made no sense at all. It's just like, I don't know what they were thinking at all when they came up with that.
On top of that, it's crazy that so now they have this patch that came out. Like, were they planning this in time, or was this just like it? Like, we know for a fact since this patch is out that they had the capabilities of implementing that before. Was it just an issue of like coding or something that they?
They're Nintendo though. They're a multi-billionaire company. You think they couldn't just have that fixed right off the bat?
Well, I mean, not right off the bat, but it's weird that they didn't consider it before.
Yeah, well, it's like, that's what I mean. It's like, why wasn't this not like this to begin with?
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of caught me off guard. It's like, it's weird that they had this app kind of walk through, or like, other way to do it, when now we all know the Nintendo Switch had that capability the entire time. Yeah. Like, granted, they had to create the patch and like I'm not gonna undersell, like, obviously it takes a long time to code software, but it is weird that they like use this app for people to download as a temporary thing, because that sounds like it would take almost just as much time.
No, yeah, it seems just backwards to me. It doesn't make any sense why they would have it to begin with.
Either way, I mean, it's moving in the right direction. So they've got gameplay recording only in 30-second intervals, so nothing crazy yet. But then they also added the wireless headset support. So that's also some other news.
Just like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. That's so stupid.
Yeah, either way, it's looking good now.
Yeah, I mean, that makes... I'm happy to hear that finally, because I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. I think maybe they did it because they didn't want actually people talking at all. Because, you know, Nintendo's always family-based and all that.
Okay,
and you can't really control what people say online, so I guess there's a certain way to keep people from actually trying to talk online. But...
yeah, they're very sheltered about, like, profanity.
Yeah, they are. They really try to stay with kid-friendly stuff or family-friendly, which I can't blame them for. And that's the only reason why I think they would ever do that, though, in the end. Is just for that alone.
It's funny to me because kids are the ones that are saying, like, I'm gonna fuck your mom or something.
Oh, yeah. Most adults are the most... like us, when we play, we never say that stuff unless jokingly to like we know we're other adults or to
like,
each other.
What like mid 20-year-old or like 30-year-old is yelling at 13-year-olds across the
I don't know.
across
When I
their
used
games?
to play actually COD, I actually had some older people say horrible things to me as a kid. Just horrible things.
I'm gonna fuck your mom. I'm 8. What do you want from me?
I was very surprised what people would say to me, especially from adults.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's been a couple weeks since I've played Call of Duty.
Yeah, well I haven't played Call of Duty online in so many years.
Yeah.
Or if I ever did play with friends, the number one thing I'd do is just mute everyone right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's like some side story essentially, like or side news story.
Yeah.
So next we typically like to talk about games that are coming out.
Okay, but before we go on that, there's one thing I want to touch on. We don't have to go into it though, but you know, the people who made Dead Space, you know, that game developer are dead now. EA killed another gaming developing company.
What was that company?
It was Visceral Games.
Oh, Visceral, yeah.
Yeah, they are no longer existing. You know, EA bought them out, made them make Dead Space 2 and 3, and just after that, just killed them off. At this time now, it's just like, when people are with these developers and they know they get bought out by EA, it's like, how do they just deal with that? It's like, what are they thinking? It's like, okay, I better start looking for another job now because I know this is not going to last forever.
These guys made some really good games, by the way.
No, yeah, they did.
Obviously, Mike mentioned Dead Space, but Dante's Inferno I thought was a fantastic game. Like, I'm not a big hack and slash fan, and that game got a lot of shit because it was kind of graphic, and also there was that weird thing about like them promoting people to purposefully slander it. It was a weird situation. But anyway, like that game was pretty damn good, I thought. I'm looking down the list. I mean, who hasn't heard of Future Cop, LAPD from 1998? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So Army of Two, those games were pretty darn good.
Yeah, the first one was a lot of fun.
Yep. They made the 2007 Simpsons game, which, if I remember correctly, if I'm thinking of the right one, the Simpsons game from 2007 was one of the more better well-received games. I might have to look it up really quickly here, but
it's like,
okay, yeah. This one, people appreciated this game quite a bit. Sorry, what were you saying, Mike?
Well, just like, it's like, how many companies does EA have under their belt that they've killed? Seriously. In the end, it's like, what? I know people usually sell to EA for the money, but then the people that work for that company that was selling them, it's like, their thought process must always be, it's like, well, I know this is not going to last for too long. Better start looking for something else to do.
Yeah,
It's just so sad to always see that happen. It's always with EA. You just have to think, like, what EA thinks of themselves is like, well, we just killed another company that we bought. Well, let's go buy another one. I just always find it so weird.
Well, I mean, from big business stance, it makes sense that anyone that has traction, instead of being a direct competitor against you, if you can buy them out, it makes more sense.
But then they just kill just a great company, and it's just so sad to see.
Yeah, well, okay, so the last game that apparently they released, not saying that they weren't working on anything since then, but the last game was Battlefield Hardline, which got extremely negative reviews,
Yeah, that
if
one
I
was
remember.
that one was just a should have been just a DLC.
Okay.
And it was a full game, and it was just a shit show.
Yeah, but I mean, before then, I'm looking at, so, like, since 2011, these are the games that have come out, being Dead Space 2, 2013 Dead Space 3, 2013 as well, Battlefield 3 Endgame, which I assume is a DLC or something.
Dead Space 3 was just absolute shit. I couldn't even get through that damn game. It was so
Well,
bad.
it's called Battlefield 3 Endgame.
No, I mean Dead Space 3.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. So Battlefield 3 was a DLC, or Battlefield 3 Endgame was a DLC, and Battlefield 3, a lot of people really enjoyed Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
And then the last game in 2013 was Army of Two, Devil's Cartel, which I haven't played.
That was the second one of it, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think there was only 2 games.
Yeah, I think that was the second version of it.
Third-person shooter. It's the third game in the Army of Two series.
Okay, yeah, that one wasn't either too good either.
Well, regardless, so what? Out of the
No, I'm not dissing the company at all. I'm just saying that beforehand they made some great games until they joined EA.
Yeah, I mean, out of the 3 titles that I mentioned, only the last 2 have really been bad. Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, and then in 2015, Battlefield Hardline came out. And I guess that does really suck, you know? It sucks that with the progress of, or I'm sorry, with the momentum of the Dead Space series, and even with Dante's Inferno and whatnot, like, that you can have a bad couple years, like 2 games get released that don't do well, and then you get shut down.
Yeah.
Irregardless of if EA
Well, it's just like the
had
thing,
much to do with it.
No,
or
it
not.
is because a lot of times it was like Dead Space was a great game, it was a fantastic design, but then all of a sudden when EA bought them out and they made Dead Space 2 and 3, they started throwing in microtransactions, all this extra bullshit that really just took a whole lot out of the game, and the storylines also became more generic too as well. Especially just like, and it's this when EA gets their hands on stuff, their games don't do nearly as well as the originals. And it's not because originals are like sequels are never good as original. It's that EA just puts in all this bullshit into it to make extra money that just ruins the games in the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people talk about EA, but not having specific examples, I feel like I would have to. Before I started like shitting and ranting all over them, I feel like I'd need to have like a list.
I know,
in
like
front of
Battlefront 2 and all that stuff, and Battlefront 2 and 1 both had a bunch of microtransactions in it, especially the second one now.
But that's the thing, I never played those games. Like,
Yeah, I know, but
feel free for you to talk about it.
Well, I'm just saying, just like with Star Wars Battlefront 2, just like to level up, to even get higher leveled up, you just buy these packs and you're better than everyone else. You don't get put in a separate group or anything like that. You're just 10 times stronger than everyone else. You're higher level. And they're also developers of Shadow of War 2. And we went to that in our last podcast. Shadows of War. Just making sure I'm not talking completely out my ass.
Okay.
Just being on the spot and all that.
Yeah, that's fine. But no, I mean it.
Yeah, Warner Brothers was that one. Yeah.
Regardless, it is really sad. You know, Visceral Games.
It's always sad to see a company go, especially once they made a great game like Dead Space.
Yeah, I mean,
I was really hoping more out of them in the end, but you know. After Dead Space, they were picked up by EA, and just it started keeping that same trope then of the other EA games. And I usually never really like EA games. It's not because it's EA, but most of the games they have are just always the same. They always have that same microtransaction bullshit and just segregating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, just to just say a farewell to a good gaming company. Sad to see them go. Hopefully, they maybe start up a new one and make their own games again.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that anyone that worked for Visceral, I'm sure that they're probably going to have a good time, or they've got a little bit of momentum still behind them.
Yeah.
Like, even though I haven't played Dead Space, it's a game that I have wanted to play and I do own, and so hopefully...
Still holds up today.
Yeah, I was going to, like, hopefully anyone that has worked on that project, like, if they're trying to get, like, investment money to start their own company, or if they're looking for a new job... Hopefully they're able to convince people that like this is a huge staple in the gaming industry. This is a great game.
It is a fantastic horror game.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully you're just able to move forward being a part of that.
Yeah. Well, that's just like the side stuff I just want to talk about. And now we're going to get over to...
just games coming out, essentially.
Games coming out, yeah. And I just picked the one that... It's a cute first-person shooter game. 3D... it's 3D design graphics. It's called High Hell. And it just looks like a fun shooter and all that stuff. With just silly enemies, silly physics and all that stuff.
The graphics, I mean, one of the perks of Mike and I being in the same room for this episode, the graphics are just like very abstract and basic. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like no texture applied to anything. Everything is basically really blocky, but like physics engine is really good, and everything's kind of like exploding and like flying off the walls.
Yeah, the
and,
physics system is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looks like a fun, quick shooter game to play.
Yeah, the guys are like shooting chimps and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
It's fast paced. It's like looks like you're just trying to be just a rogue hero, just taking out drug labs and all that stuff, burning their money. And there's giant robots for some reason that you have to shoot. It just looks like a fun, basic first-person shooter that'll be maybe 3 hours of gameplay.
So how much? So it's called High Hell. How much is it?
Yeah, let's see how much it's gonna go for. It's coming out tomorrow, so I don't know if it has a price yet on it. There's no price on it. Yeah, so there's no price on it yet, but I'm sure it's probably gonna be maybe $20 tops. Any higher, I'm not gonna pay for that. But if it's 20 or lower, I'll definitely pick it up just for a quick playthrough because it looks like it's gonna be funny.
Yeah, it looks like it's got the same kind of slapstick humor as like Goat Simulator or something. I mean, it's just like
it's that humor, except it's a first-person shooter, and it just looks silly and fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna, if it comes out and it's less than, if it's 20 or less, I'll definitely give it a go to play. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I heard about this game and I saw it on Reddit, but it's called The Mummy Demastered.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So honestly, I'm sure that there was probably a previous game that came out for the fact that it's called The Mummy Demastered, but it's pixel art. It's really beautiful pixel art actually, and it kind of looks like a mix between like Metal Slug and Contra and
Metroid.
You mentioned Metroid as well.
With the last level, it looks like a mass level design. Yeah, it has the same mapping feature as Metroid.
Yeah, it's just like gridded and stuff, and yeah, this looks a lot like Metal Slug in some cases, especially the vehicles. But
the design looks like Metal Slug. The gameplay looks like Metroid.
Either way, so The Mummy Demastered comes out on October 24th. By the time you're listening to this, it's probably already out. And yeah, I didn't even realize these games that are coming out, they don't have their price tag on them yet. But either way, it looks like a really good game, and obviously it got enough attention from like Reddit and from social media that
that's how you
people
found
have
it?
high expectations of it. Yeah.
So it looks like it's gonna be one of those long indie games too. It looks like there's gonna be a lot of gameplay in it.
Yeah. So we'll see. Also, I know that we've been talking a lot about like AAA games coming out this month, but I did want to talk about Mario Odyssey because that's like most anticipated game of the year. I mean, ever since E3, it won, Game of Show or something at E3, and by the time that we have our next episode, this game's going to be out. So it comes out on this Friday, October 27th, and I don't know, I'm just jumping in my seat. I love a good Mario game, and I've purposefully tried not to see like too many trailers or any good spoilers of how the game works, but I mean, just seeing that single E3 trailer, like the mechanics of like overtaking enemies and stuff just looks unbelievable. And I don't want to talk about anything that I don't know about the game, but I mean,
it looks like another solid Mario game. I mean, it's Nintendo. They make solid games.
Yeah.
And I can't really say I don't have Nintendo switching like that, so I won't be playing it. But just knowing the track record of Nintendo, especially when Mario's involved, they usually do well, and they are really well designed games.
Yeah, and I mean, just like we haven't had like a decent, huge Mario adventure for a while. Like the last couple Mario games that have come out,
were pretty linear.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it wasn't even that. Like the Wii U had Mario 3D World, which was just a glorified 3-dimensional version of like old school Mario.
Yeah, you just go one way and that's it.
Yeah, it was like it was level based.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey does remind me a lot of Mario 64, my favorite one.
Yeah, and I mean in comparison, like I think the last game that came out that Mario Odyssey reminds me of is Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah.
It feels a lot more open. The worlds feel really unique and like it feels just legitimately unique. I already used that word, but
No, I know what you're saying. It's actually a world you can explore and just to get all the stars.
yeah, and the hat mechanic. I mean, that's just as interesting as the water mechanic in Super Mario Sunshine.
That's a nice new employee when you actually can be the enemies now.
Yeah, in comparison, like, even Mario Galaxy was okay, but I didn't really enjoy a lot of the aspects of, like, well, the Wiimote kind of brought it down a lot, but just as, like, a basic Mario adventure, oh my gosh, it's been years since, I mean, once again, I mean, we're talking GameCube. Like, there's been 3 console releases since the last Mario game that I thought was unbelievable. You know, like, just, like, speechless. Like, can't put the controller down. So, I mean, obviously I could talk the hell out of that game because I'm excited, but we can move on. So,
Yeah.
Typically that's normally the end of our show as we talk about games coming out and then we end up. But we're going to try to start doing this thing now where we're kind of going to give like a little bit of a sneak peek into next week's episode. So, next week, just so that you guys can kind of like put together your list of top 5, we're going to give our top 5 list to end each previous show. So for next week, our top 5 list is going to be top 5 scariest moments in horror games. So specifically, like, you know, not necessarily like the entirety of Silent Hill 2 as the game, but maybe like when you first see Pyramid Head or something, as an example.
So it can be you can have like a shitty game, but there's that one moment that always stuck with you in that one game.
Yeah, you know, like it could be just a great cutscene, or it could be like the dogs that jump through the window in Resident Evil. Like, I mean, how many people have talked about
the bear in Condemned?
The goddamn bear. Yeah.
Fucking bear.
Mike, from our previous podcast, Mike was describing this zombie bear experience, and I feel it might make a resurgence next week.
It is going to make a resurgence next week.
But we'll see. Either way.
I actually might play that game. I actually might play Condemned this week.
Alright, yeah. Feel free to.
I'm going to have like an issue too, because my girlfriend's parents are going to be in town, so it might be a little light for me, so.
Your girlfriend's parents are in town, and she's going to be like showing her parents everywhere, and they're gonna be like, "Where's your boyfriend Mike? Oh, he's playing video games," and you're just like in the room next to them in your underwear, like, "Honey, we need more pizza rolls."
And I got to hang out with them because the last time they were here, I was out on the road working, so I think we might have a special guest next time, actually. So we're still debating on it. We're still talking about it, but we might have a special guest, too.
Yeah, we're going to try to see if we can bring one extra person into the show.
Just to help out, because like I said, I'm going to be busy this week, and we did talk about doing the movies, so I think we might do movies not this week, but next week, though.
We'll see.
That's cool with you.
But yeah, and once again, it's also like, if you, the viewer, is interested, like, pretty much it would be a temporary guest. They would be on for one episode. They'd do the top 5 with us, and then we would they would essentially just be part of the conversation for one episode, and then it would be like a one and done kind of thing. But if you think that would be interesting or not, you know, let us know. Feel free to comment or whatever.
I think right now that's like, at first, honestly, from my opinion, I was serve against it just to have one every week. But I think now, just realizing how busy I'm gonna be this week, it's gonna be really nice to have someone to support our podcast. Just so, because I'll have less to talk about, sadly, because I'll be so busy, you know, being a host.
You know, playing Condemned in your underwear, eating pizza rolls.
Yeah, because like after I say, oh, I can play Condemned, I'm like, oh right, I'm gonna be busy with my girlfriend's parents, just showing them around Montana. So I was like, shit.
I just have that image of the South Park episode in my head where they're playing World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, that's
Mom,
carpet.
Mom, bathroom, Mom.
Just shit's all over her mom's like, ooh, that was a wet one.
God damn it, it's so freaking gross.
It was like, it was such a good episode, but it was so disgusting with that part. I was like, that was just like over the top. Her mom was those like portable porta potties.
Yep. So, yeah, but we'll see you guys next week. Keep in mind, keep thinking about your top 5 scariest moments in horror games. And and
don't be afraid to write comments on that stuff, because I do constantly keep an eye on that stuff. I'm trying to be on top of the social media part, so if you're afraid that we won't notice them, I will be actually checking up on them when you write comments, all that stuff. And I promise I won't be too mean or ban you. Well, I might ban you, I don't know. Depending on my mood, if I'm drunk or not. And that's our podcast. Have a good one.
Yeah. See you guys.